to round two, the back nine of our FP40 division at the 2021 Tim Selinske U.S. Masters Disc Golf Championships. Owen Scoggins, Jennifer Allen, and Des Redding on our lead card entering this back nine of round two action. I'm Grant Zellner from the PDGA, joined in the booth by none other than Jen Allen.
Hello, everybody.
Back for 9 more holes here at Indian Hills Golf Course in Columbia, Missouri.
This is where things get tight.
Yeah, this is where things definitely get interesting. Hole number 10, 263 feet, a par 3, and a very, very challenging one as we go back into the woods. Part of that front nine, really out in the open. Now decidedly into the woods we go.
Definitely. I know when I was practicing this course, I was literally picking trees and range finding how far certain trees were to the basket. If I recall, this one's like 65 feet. That last tree that you see in the middle of the fairway. So you kind of want to just aim this straight, which Des is so good at.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is her Stingray.
Des at 10 under par with the box. She's currently in third place. Jen leading by 1 at 12 under par.
I threw a star came in here, which is probably not the right disc, but I sneaked through.
You're down there.
I went back and forth on a putter or the with the came in there, which is really stable, but just trying to sneak over there to that left side where we can have a putt at the basket. The green is actually pretty open, so as long as you get down and past these first trees, you're going to have a look.
Owen opening her back nine at 11 under par, 1 stroke behind you.
She comes up short. You never know. She could slam those from back there.
We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen already today.
And her smooth upshot / putt that is so consistent, always goes either in or right by.
You're looking at something in the range of maybe 45 feet here.
That's probably pretty accurate. Again, this little turnover putt I kept getting right on the left side of every tree on this course, it seems like.
This is a real strength of Dez's game, these par-saving putts from that kind of uncomfortable 12, 15, 18-foot distance. And one of the things that Dez talked to me about is how specifically she stays in her routine.
Yes.
No matter
always.
what,
Doesn't
even
matter.
if she feels like it's a little short for having to go through a routine, she would rather go through her entire routine and take her time than not.
Absolutely, because you never want to just try to throw one up and act like it's no big deal and have to live with that later.
Hole number 11, and as you can see based on this drone footage, although only 390 feet, this is a par 5.
This is a par 5 because our entire pool is AMs through pros, so I believe they were a little generous to us on some of these pars because of our field. But it is a very difficult hole that you have to split it up into 2 parts. The OB, again, walkway right there on the right side, and trees scattered throughout the entire length of the hole.
Yeah, they haven't invented the par 4.5 yet for a hole, and I don't think they're ever going to. So, you know, sometimes you might find yourself with a relatively easy eagle opportunity or a birdie that, say, our pro field here today feels like is kind of a must-get, but that's okay. It all goes back to strategy. Here's Owen with a forehand off the tee, trying to take advantage of the shape of the hole.
She gets lucky. Owen is our Masters champion, so she has that Masters luck.
Flash in the ring.
Couple of Masters champions I'm playing here today. Not too bad a company. I try to punch that Firebird all the way up there.
You really succeeded in banking it in there.
I looked on that left-hand side, which we had no clue was open, but wasn't willing to risk taking that. But there is actually an entire opening over on the left side if you sneak over there.
You can see how hard Dez was throwing that upshot. This hole a little bit of an optical illusion. The basket is a bit further than it looks like it is. This sort of valley in between where there's a dry creek bed that's playing as a casual area sort of messes with you just a little bit, and you do have to really pump this upshot into this area.
Yeah, Ohm puts her champ rock 3 right up underneath the basket. And I believe Des throws her well right up there.
So you've got a long look here for eagle.
Did not know that. We definitely felt like it was a par 4, but it doesn't really matter what it is. We're just trying to get it in the basket, a few strokes possible.
So Owen, thanks to that little bit of fortune with that forehand not skipping out of bounds, it ended up giving her a lot of distance, making her upshot a fairly straightforward one. And now as she walks gingerly to her lie, she actually chips in what on the scorecard goes down as an eagle. So
Yeah,
hey.
it's really hard to give her a lot of sympathy when she's still playing, kicking our butts on these holes, even injured. So, but no, we love Owen, and we hope that she is feeling better very soon. That's where the camera guy and I were looking at this hole. Like, it was wide open on the left side for you locals. I'm sure you would have told me to try it, but maybe next time.
Hole number 12, a 372-foot, also one more par 5.
Did not know that either.
Yep, taking
But
into account our field here today.
This is a sneaky hole.
It really is.
And I love this hole, though, in a way, because you have options. Lots of options. Left or right, all the way up the fairway.
Now, it does play uphill. It does play as a bit of a hallway, a really tight left and right edge to this hole. Thick brush on both sides. You've got to navigate a pretty sharp left. No, that would be a right-hand turn, Grant. Your right hand is the one that doesn't make an L when you hold it out in front of you.
Yeah, we're just trying to get right past this first opening and landing. I mean, literally, you could putt it down the hill. We're just trying to get right around this corner and land in the middle of the fairway.
So after Owen on that last hole ties you for the lead, she steps up and hits one of the first available trees.
And this corner, again, very short, very tight. I believe all the way around the corner was just 145 feet away from the tee pad there. So this is so short that I can throw a forehand, which I am getting better at. And I might not be able to say I don't throw them anymore because I threw a lot this week.
It's Bigfoot.
And who would have thought I landed in the fairway with my forehand and not Owen?
People say they've heard of it.
Take note.
But then they claim they've never seen one. We just saw Jennifer Allen throwing a forehand.
Yes, on the fairway.
Bigfoot is real. The challenge for Des is real right here. She is quite deep into. It's difficult to get that deep, honestly, on this particular hole. It's such a hallway.
They're very thick back in there with a lot of vines as well, but she punches it right out.
Jen with a
big decisions, left or right. I went with the left turnover fade to try to get a little bit further up the fairway, just low ceiling. So not only is this very tight left and right, but the ceiling is extremely low as you go uphill, which makes it difficult. Owen tries to skip one up there and makes it most of the way into her range for sure.
Yeah, she'll have that for a 4 as Des. This is another one of Des's routines. Feeling her throwing arm and her off arm kind of working together, like sort of like pistons, I guess.
Yes, and she probably is also really double checking her footing, making sure she's not twisting or hurting those hips either. I loved the first time I saw her walk by when we got here was she's walking so great. So definitely wanted to pass that along to her. We're very proud that she is working hard and looking much healthier. 2, yes,
Yeah,
it happened.
right
2
there.
forehands.
2 forehands. You're
on
thrilled.
one hole. I can go home now, ladies and gentlemen.
Something you might notice behind Owen from here on out in the round, she's got a cart. Now, if you've watched coverage here on the PDGA's YouTube channel, you've probably seen a lot of Owen lately. You'll notice she doesn't usually use a cart. One of the other competitors,
Jenny
who was
Umstead.
a hole or two ahead, heard that Owen was really struggling with her back, having difficulty in particular bending down. And so she came back during a bit of a delay and brought her cart, took her own bag out, put Owen's bag in her cart, and let Owen utilize that cart for the duration of the round. I thought that was a very sort of disc golf community thing to do.
This group of ladies is absolutely amazing. We love the sport, all of us. I'm starting to feel, I guess it's just this is how masters do it. We love the game. We want the best person to win. We want everyone to be playing their best and enjoying the day. And so if that's what we have to do to help our friends get through the round, then that's what we're going to do.
226-foot par 3. This is hole number 13. Jen, you just took a one-stroke lead back from Own. And now you get the pleasure of this challenge.
If I would have known that, I might not have tried this tight up the middle gap, but I almost aced it in practice, so I tried it again, and it's just so tight. You can get lucky on the left side and throw a turnover spot that'll get you closer to the basket for an open putt, but this is a fun hole because it does make you commit on left or right, but there are options on this hole.
Now, that creek that you deflected into, playing as a casual area, it's not, I guess it's, I don't know if you can call it a creek when there's no water in it, but clearly there can be water there. It divides this fairway from the next hole's fairway.
Yes, they could have been mean and put a line for sure through that creek because these holes do all connect side by side.
So now both you and Des on the scramble bus.
She gets a nice little kick right up to the basket where she belongs.
All right, Jen, now it's your turn.
This is one of the last Discmania discs that I have in the bag. I throw in all in a bag, and I always have, but my Yeti putters are very, very stable. So this P1X is a little flippier, so I've been throwing it in the woods lately. And I switched to my Yeti. And just don't have enough on it. So, again, kicking myself. Every hole that I thought I was going to ace, I ended up not doing so well on, but I think that's what happens when you really want them. And these holes are fun, so you want to go out and you just go for those aces, right? That's what we're supposed to do. Ace or die.
Own. Getting used to pulling that card around. Yeah, ace or die. I like that.
Yeah, why not?
We had a local tournament where I'm from that was kind of an ace or die tournament recently. But I digress as Own knocks in the birdie putt after an incredible drive on this hole. That's a two-stroke swing, and Own your new leader.
Own putts with the JKs, a couple of Yetis, a lot of AVRs on this card. Good putter.
No doubt about it. Here we are, hole number 14, 260 foot, a par 3. That's hole 13 there to the left. That's the same creek we were just now speaking of. Now we play right down the same chute. So any wind that we were dealing with just a moment ago, now we're dealing with the opposite wind. So some decisions definitely need to be made here.
This was another hole that I ranged the tree closest to the basket. That last tree is only 30 feet from the basket. You cannot see the basket at all from the tee pad, but this last tree that you see, big one, up here on the right is right at circle's edge. So if you can just throw it straight, you're going to have a putt, and it's going to slide down that slope to the basket.
That was a great drive by Own, and now Des stepping up to the tee, turning something over just a little bit.
You have two choices. It's either going to be a Stingray or a Roadrunner. You guess.
She puts herself pin high just outside of the circle there to the right, which might be kind of the conservative play here. A lot of holes tempt you to try to shape something, and you can, but sometimes the straight shot and just give yourself a good solid look, that might be the way to go.
I wish I would have done that. I tried to hyzer my Cayman in there, went in way too tight, got a bad kick down into the creek. I really thought I had this putt. I did not think that little tiny leaf was going to knock me back down into the creek, but apparently that's where I like to hang out, down the creek.
It's a good thing there wasn't any water in it.
Yes, it was. Very good thing.
Des just kind of finding out she was more obstructed than she might have thought she would be out there to the right, so just chipping up to save her par.
Very disappointed look.
So we've got another two-stroke swing.
Yes.
No, I'm not rubbing it in,
I know.
Jen. I'm just doing my job as Own. Spoiler alert. Puts in her birdie putt.
Gingerly slams in another birdie for us.
So the lead grows from 1 to 3.
I am so glad I don't keep track of that while I'm playing. I put enough stress on myself out there.
Yeah. Interesting, I've noticed on this card all week long, rarely is the lead more than 2 for anyone.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why I also wasn't really paying attention. You could feel that every day. We could feel that I don't know if it's just these courses that we're playing, but it was just kind of back and forth the entire time.
You're looking at hole number 15, 298 feet. Also a par 3. Also a little bit of a difficult to manage look right there off the tee.
I believe this is Owen's Firebird.
Look at all of the windows, but how small each and every one of them is.
Windows, lines, I don't really know. This one is definitely a very difficult shot. It's hard to pick a line that you want to hit, so you just kind of throw it out there and try to get lucky, but there is a lot of trees in this fairway.
First available for Dez. Gets no more than about 40 feet or so off the tee.
I have a Mako 3 in my hand, and I just put it on a hyzer and try to get it to go as straight as possible, and got lucky that it did.
See, I would say that's a window that you found, and you put yourself 7 feet away from the basket.
Frustration throw for sure.
A really timely place to step up with a drive like that, though. After those 2 bogeys in a row, 2 two-shot swings in a row, dropping from being 1 ahead of Owen to 3 behind, and now you're going to immediately make amends for that.
Yeah, it definitely helps stop the bleeding for sure. Des also has some of the coolest old stamps in her bag,
She
too.
does,
I don't know
yeah.
if you've
Sneaking
looked at some of
looks,
those old Texas stamps.
Considered stealing some of them. I've thought better of it because Jay is a rather
He's
large
a very large
guy.
man. You probably should stay away.
You don't get nicknamed the Yeti when you're not somebody who has certain physical features that are reminiscent of
That might
Yetis.
crush you. It does feel great to be back out playing with Des again, though. We've played in Texas since 2001 together.
Wow.
Does that make us since this is a Masters event, does that mean we can brag about being old? We are some lovely 40-year-old,
I like that. Let's brag
beautiful
about being
women,
old.
beautiful 40-year-old women here.
You know, we're within about 3 months, our birthdays, you and I. I don't know if you knew
And
that.
from Oklahoma. We're telling all kinds of secrets.
All right, we're moving on to our final 3 holes of the round.
Imagine that. More trees.
A little bit more to go in the woods, though.
More trees.
All that light coming through from the setting sun on this particular day is a bit misleading. This hole maybe...
Pick a line. Pick a line. Any line.
This is one of those holes that comes along in a wooded course every now and then where you feel like there's a little bit of a plinko factor. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
There has to be a line. I did get one to sneak through a few times in practice. It's kind of fun because it's so hard
Hole 16.
it's fun to throw.
220 feet, by the way, to get back to that basket location.
Plinkoed myself back onto the fairway, which I was very grateful for. The backups were aplenty. So we were able to watch each other play a lot this week, and that was fun.
So there is a sort of an obvious opening gap here. And as long as you hit that, you've probably worked your way at least halfway to the basket, maybe even a little bit more. So you'll have, say, a 60, 70-foot look as long as you hit this opening right out the gate. It's whether you're going to have anything closer than that where a little bit of a luck factor comes into play. So here's Des from probably somewhere around 100.
I would guess so. And she just snakes it almost all the way up to there.
Yeah.
I thought she got that one. That one looked good.
You're looking at a 70-footer maybe.
And I was not trying to go at it. I was just trying to make it out, but gave it a little look. On through her Leopard 3, her Tour Series disc up there. She throws that disc so well. That's why her name is on it.
I think she was trying to split those 2 trees.
She probably was. She can do cool things like that.
Oh, Des, walking it in,
That's probably why I had that feeling. I remember, like,
leaving the disc out, though.
yeah, that she got cheated on that. So I guess it was her second approach at it.
That was a big putt for you.
That was a big putt. That one
You
felt good.
You knew Owen was dropping in for a par here in a moment. Well, maybe not quite dropping in, but
She
awfully
does.
close.
Yeah, she does not miss these putts. So you have to almost automatically count Owen in if she's anywhere near the circle on either side of it.
Just about 4 or 5 ginger paces away. Moving on to the penultimate hole here at Indian Hills Disc Golf Course in Columbia, Missouri. Hole 17, 254 feet, a par 3. The final heavily wooded hole, you're going to get a little bit of a chance to air something out on 18. But for now, one more challenge to face down.
Yes, and this is the only time that little path is safe for us. But it does kind of open up after that. As long as we can get to that walkway, then we have a nice look at the basket. I'm just trying to shoot one down the gut here.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Champ Rock 3, which is pretty beat up, so I tried to put a little hyzer on it and get it straight, but let it go just a tad bit early. I got a pretty favorable kick. Didn't go too far.
With 2 holes to go, you're 2 strokes back. You had the box. And now we've got to see what Owen is going to do.
Again, throwing her Leopard 3, Halo Leopard 3 there.
Sort of had an opportunity there, and it went. You went left, she went right.
These trees will do that to you. You never know when they're going to kick you. There's a lot of them. And sneaks it up just a little bit further. Owen was deep in the woods.
Well, she really was. This was not a great place to be. Forced to just go with something
Yeah,
overhand.
I think she punched out her Champ Destroyer there and got a pretty good roll into her range. Wish I could say if 50, 60, it's in my range, but this is a lovely Mirage that Sandy gave me. And yes, Sandy, it is still in the bag. I unfortunately did not throw it well.
You're throwing it with a forehand, which she never would have known when she first gave that to you.
No, but it was really kind of the only way out, and I needed the disc to go back left, and that's a very understable disc, so I was just needed to get around that last big tree. It's about 45, 50 feet, and I gave it a look and just came up just a tad bit short. Getting closer, getting closer.
Des with a chance to re-extend that lead to 3. Just about the largest the lead has been all week long. Oh, just short.
So close.
So you and Owen match each other bogey for bogey here on 17. Des picks up a stroke on both of you with her par. There she goes.
Solid
the whole
every time.
routine.
Yep,
just
every
a 12-foot putt.
That is why she is such a good putter. So consistent every single time.
Ending things in style. Hole 18, a 388-foot par 4. A soft sort of bend to the right with a lot of airspace for a change. That's got to make you feel good as you step up to this tee.
It is nice to step out of the woods and see the sunshine. It does make me happy.
And at 388 feet for a par 4, this is reachable for you. No doubt about it.
This is a reachable hole. I believe, if I remember correctly, the road kind of sneaks in a little bit. But other than that, this is really no danger. Just stay away from those few big trees in the fairway. We had a pretty good wind. Camera guy, got to give him love. They were so great for us.
Who's that guy?
Oh, I've never seen that guy before.
I don't know who that is.
But we had a pretty good left to right wind on this hole that was helping push us to the basket there. But
Des off the tee, not trying to do too much here. Very much a placement shot. Probably not reachable for her. I'm not saying she doesn't have 388 in the bag, but at this particular shape and with the way the wind was,
right,
that was going to be a challenge. And so she's just going to cut the hole in half. And here you are.
I ripped up that Star TL because it glides like a kite. Unfortunately, it hyzers off for me just right before it was reaching the basket. But I love throwing that disc.
You can see the whiskers there. You're just outside of the circle.
Yeah, it's such a fun disc to throw. If I get the right angle, it'll go as far as my destroyer. So I love throwing the TL.
Oh, and I wondered when she threw this shot if she might have gone with a real hard backhand if her back wasn't bothering her. Instead, she goes with a forehand, probably knowing she's not going to get all the way to the basket.
And she probably practiced it that way. A lot of times, when something happens during the middle of the round, you still kind of go back to how I played this in practice. And so with her being so equal, throwing the forehand and backhand, she probably just went with what she did in practice. And Des throws her star. Roadrunner, I think, right up there like always.
For a kick-in birdie on our final hole.
No, that was her Stingray.
Look
her
at you
Stingray
stretching out here.
I was pretending to be a gymnast again.
That looked comfortable.
You just got to pop up quick so you don't get chiggers.
Right. On off the left side of the chains, giving you an opportunity to make up yet another stroke before the round is over. With your drop-in birdie.
And
Des
that was
Dez's
Stingray that she threw up there.
Practically a drop-in birdie for Des.
Yeah, it was a nice hole. This course, I really loved how it played. Hard hole to start, some challenging technical holes through the middle, and then you were able to let one fly right there at the end. So it was a fun course. I'd love to play it again.
Own off to look for some ice.
Yes, and lots of stretching.
She takes a one-stroke lead into tomorrow's round 3. She's at 14 under par. You, Jennifer Allen, at 13 under par. You and Owen matched each other with 5 under par rounds today. And Des retains her spot on the lead car in 3rd place. She is 10 under par.
And we go over to Oakland Upper tomorrow. Fun little course.
Follow things on the PDGA's social media channels and PDGA.com for all of your information and updates during the U.S. Masters Disc Golf Championships.